What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and today we're talking about PlayStation because Sony just did a special press conference over in Japan talking about the entire PlayStation ecosystem, how the consoles are doing, their future plans, and kind of how they plan on treating future PC releases. And to be honest, some of the stuff they said is very confusing, and people are kind of picking it apart. So let's go through their announcements and see what's actually up. Hi, I hope you're having a great day. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I do want to make it clear, this is obviously separate from the state of play. We're going to get a big reveal of like game trailers and big game reveals and stuff here in about 24 hours, but it's currently very early in the morning in Japan, and this is typically when Japan likes to make their big talks. You know, this is a Japanese company, so they're speaking primarily to Japanese audiences and a lot of Japanese investors. And it's kind of bizarre because they started off by talking about the fact that the PlayStation 5 is the most profitable generation ever, but here's the strange part. Almost 100 million people play on a PlayStation every single month, but currently the numbers are split in half. 49 million people are playing on PS4 and 49 million people are playing on PlayStation 5. Now, the actual hours themselves are, as you can see, much higher for PS5. PS5 gamers are much more hardcore, but I still think even that is kind of bizarre to think about the amount of people that have not yet made that jump to next gen. Now, I guess this isn't the biggest shock because a lot of the big PlayStation 5 games are still on PlayStation 4. Games like Gran Turismo, God of War, like PlayStation 4 is not like irrelevant, even though it is technically last gen. But here's the other part of it that a lot of people are discussing, which is that lately we've started to see a lot of PlayStation games going to PC. Obviously, Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Spider-Man, and now most recently, they've had an overwhelming amount of success with Helldivers 2. And so people have just been kind of curious how this has been doing because they've been talking sales numbers. These games have been extremely popular on freaking PC. Like, they took Ghost of Tsushima, a game that came out 4 years ago, they dropped it onto PC, and it's one of the highest selling games on PC. I think not only is this free money, but I think it's showing the fact that PlayStation is making enormous amounts of moves. They're getting a lot of extra new fans just by engaging with a totally separate ecosystem, and they said pretty much that this is just a fun little side project. They said very directly that the point of PlayStation is to sell you a PlayStation. If you buy their games on PC, that's nice, but they explicitly said they're not going to do day and date. If you're hoping that the next, Last of Us or, whatever weird random spin-off projects we get from Uncharted, those will come to the PlayStation 5, and then a year or two later, they're going to come to PC. Now, I find it interesting because they said that they're trying to find a way to essentially get more games out. People are talking about the fact that the PlayStation Studios family brand definitely has a delay to it. Like, it is funny that they have this. This is their own personal art that they made. We're never getting a Days Gone 2. It's funny that that's on the list. It's funny how many of these games have not had a single entry in 4 years. Look at this. Look at this. The fact that Ghost of Tsushima, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank, Astrobot, like these games are very, very good. I love these, but none of these have had a single entry in 4 years. So they said specifically they're trying to find interesting new ways to find people to help make games. So they'll still have the same studios, same talent, same timeline, but instead just get stuff out a lot smoother. Now, here's the part of it I found funny that a lot of people are kind of laser focused on is they said straight up, the point is that they want you to go to PlayStation. We're a PlayStation business, so if they do release anything day and date, like when it comes to games like Helldivers 2 that have been extremely successful, they said the goal is to get PC owners to buy the games on PlayStation. the specific kind of example. He doesn't say the word Spider-Man directly, but it sounds like they're all right, we're going to let you play Spider-Man 1 on PC so that when Spider-Man 2 comes out, you'll want to buy a PlayStation 5 to get it a year or two faster. But this idea, I believe in it, but it's definitely a strategy that nobody else is doing right now in the entire industry. And people are being like, okay, well then you learned nothing from Helldivers 2. You had the biggest PC game in the entire year is just Helldivers 2. It's insane how much money that made. You could just keep making games that are day and date, keep releasing your stuff. It's not necessarily going to devalue the brand, but PlayStation is saying, nope, we are going to stay as a place. We do not want to actually do too much outside our current comfort zone. They said, we want to extend our reach of profit and franchises through multi-platform deliverability. This is their way of saying, like, maybe we'll take some stuff and put it on Nintendo Switch eventually. Maybe we'll put stuff on Xbox 2 or 3 years down the line. Maybe we'll put stuff on PC after it's completely made its money back on PlayStation 5. But this is so weird to me because their obsession with not cannibalizing. Now, this is something that I feel like is very standout because PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox, they definitely have very unique frames of mind as to how they're handling their current consoles. Like Nintendo wants you to buy the Switch. You got to buy every game on the Nintendo Switch. Games that are coming to the Nintendo Switch oftentimes don't come anywhere else. If you want any Mario game, any Zelda game, any Metroid game, you have to have a Nintendo Switch to experience it all. Whereas Xbox is going the route where you don't have to have an Xbox at all. You can play everything on Game Pass for PC. So it makes it where, if anything, it's devalued the console somewhat. Whereas PlayStation, it feels like they're trying to fit in the middle. They're trying to say, okay, getting the system is important. That hardware sales is so lucrative to us that honestly, we're going to make sure that you actually just get into our ecosystem as early as possible. But they're also trying to say, okay, PC gaming is huge. We cannot ignore that demographic. If anything, I think part of what's doing this is, I want to show you a specific tweet. There was actually this tweet that was going around just a couple hours ago today. Let me scroll past my other tweets. This one here, which is the fact that apparently PlayStation 5 is still a current US market leader by a significant margin. They are selling insane amounts of games. They're managing to sell first-party stuff, third-party stuff. As long as you buy it on your PlayStation, I don't think Sony really cares if you buy Call of Duty, even though that is technically Microsoft bucks. They just care that you're playing on the PlayStation. And I think that now, hearing them talk about it directly, it sounds like even though they're pleased with the success of PC games, they don't really see it in the same vein. They don't see PC gamers in the same light as the actual console owners, which I think, to me personally, I do think this is a bit of a mistake. I think the delay makes sense. I guess PlayStation's still kind of in a rock and a hard place. They're selling so many PS5s. They don't want to trip themselves up. They want to keep that momentum going. But I just feel like the gap between the games released on PS5 and the games released on PC, I think that time should be shorter. 6 months or a year. Like, make it so that when the game comes out, if people want it, it already has that date in mind. I feel like if they straight up said, like, hey, we're releasing this big, huge game on June 30th, 2024. You can get it on PC June 30th of 2025. I almost feel like that would boost sales because then they're going to want to watch trailers and hype and Let's Plays and reviews because even if it is a PS5 exclusive right then, they can enjoy the hype. They can do their own countdowns. Or if they do get tempted enough, maybe they'll go, oh, I can't wait anymore. I will buy a PS5. I don't know. PlayStation has kind of put themselves in an odd spot where their console is king. They're managing to sell so freaking much. Stellar Blade is an absolute juggernaut. Final Fantasy didn't do as well as they probably intended. Helldivers 2 is huge. Even Sea of Thieves is selling insane numbers on the PlayStation 5. And if anything, I feel like this is just a testament to how strong PlayStation is doing. So when they talk about this being the most profitable generation ever, I'm not shocked, but the PC thing is still a question mark to be discussed. But how do you guys feel about this? I'm actually curious because I've been doing PlayStation content now for almost 10 years. I'm very curious how people view PC gaming. I'm still predominantly like a trophy hunter, so I like playing stuff on my PS5 when I can, but I feel like more and more of my friends are becoming PC gamers. I don't know. I'm curious to see if we start to see a shift where we just don't get enough PlayStation 5 exclusives, if we will start to see people dabbling in other ecosystems. But what do you guys think about this? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please tell me what you think about it. And if you could, give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. But please keep dreaming. By the way, I am going to be watching the State of Play tomorrow and the Silent Hill transmission. I might live stream both. I might just live stream one or the other, but definitely expect videos about both because I do love me some Silent Hill. And of course, State of Play. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.